That 1928 survey was carried out by the then 23-year-old Ernst Mayr, who had just pulled off the remarkable achievement of completing his PhD thesis in zoology, while simultaneously completing his preclinical studies at medical school. Like Darwin, Ernst had been passionately devoted to outdoor natural history as a boy, and he had thereby come to the attention of Erwin Stresemann, a famous ornithologist at Berlin's Zoological Museum. In 1928, Stresemann, together with ornithologists at the American Museum of Natural History in New York and at Lord Rothschild's Museum near London, came up with a bold scheme to clean up the outstanding remaining ornithological mysteries of New Guinea by tracking down all of the perplexing birds of paradise known only from specimens collected by natives and not yet traced to their home grounds by European collectors. Ernst, who had never been outside Europe, was the person selected for this daunting research program. Ernst's cleanup consisted of thorough bird surveys of New Guinea's 5 most important north coastal mountains, a task whose difficulties are impossible to conceive today in these days when bird explorers and their field assistants are at least not at acute risk of being ambushed by the natives. Ernst managed to befriend the local tribes, was officially but incorrectly reported to have been killed by them, survived severe attacks of malaria and dengue and dysentery and other tropical diseases, plus a forced descent down a waterfall and a near drowning in an overturned canoe, succeeded in reaching the summits of all 5 mountains, and amassed large collections of birds with many new species and subspecies. Despite the thoroughness of his collections, they proved to contain not a single one of the mysterious, missing birds of paradise. That astonishing negative discovery provided Stresemann with a decisive clue to the mystery's solution. All of those missing birds were hybrids between known species of birds of paradise, hence their rarity. From New Guinea, Ernst went on to the Solomon Islands in the Southwest Pacific, where as a member of the Whitney South Sea Expedition, he participated in bird surveys of several islands. A telegram then invited him to come in 1930 to the American Museum of Natural History in New York to identify the tens of thousands of bird specimens collected by the Whitney expedition on dozens of Pacific islands. Ernst Mayr's explorations of bird specimens in museums were as important as his fieldwork in New Guinea and the Solomons, informing his own insights into geographic variation and evolution. In 1953, Ernst moved from New York to Harvard University's Museum of Comparative Zoology. For scholars studying evolution and the history and philosophy of biology, Ernst's hundreds of technical articles and dozens of technical books have been for a long time the standard reference works. But in addition to gaining insights from his own fieldwork in the Pacific and from his own studies of museum bird specimens, Ernst has collaborated with many other scientists to extract insights from other species, ranging from flies and flowering plants to snails and people. One of those collaborations transformed my own life, just as the meeting with Erwin Stresemann transformed Ernst's life. While I was a teenage schoolboy, my father, a physician studying human blood groups, collaborated with Ernst in the first study proving that human blood groups evolved subject to natural selection. I thereby met Ernst at dinner at my parents' house, was later instructed by him in the identification of Pacific Island birds, began in 1964 the first of 19 ornithological expeditions of my own to New Guinea and the Solomons, and in 1971 began to collaborate with Ernst on a massive book about Solomon and Bismarck birds that we completed only this year, after 30 years of work. My career, like that of so many other scientists today, thus exemplifies how Ernst Mayr has shaped the lives of 20th century scientists, through his ideas, his writings, his collaborations, his example, his lifelong warm friendships, and his encouragement. What evolution is. Edge.